Hello guys, I'm Miguel,
And I'm Rowan.
and today we're going to be making a Flappy Bird game that looks just like this one and maybe has a better score because I don't know what's going on with the score.
Bruh.
But in here we will be doing a Flappy Bird game and you will have your own retro video game that is endless. So let's get scratching.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go to this project called Flappy Bird Art, where we have all the art for this game. You can see inside, go to backpack, and then drag out all the pieces that we need for this. We're gonna make one more piece of art in the game, but you can make that on your own. So, after we backpack it, let's make a new project. Let's delete Scratchcat and let's import all of these sprites.
First, let's name the bird Bird. In the bird sprite, drag out a one green flag clicked. Make a new variable called force. Make sure that it's for this sprite only. Next, drag out a go to X and Y. Then set it to X -150, Y 0. Set force to 0. Now drag out a forever loop and make it change Y by force forever. Now drag out another one green flag clicked forever loop, and in the forever loop say repeat until whatever key you want it to be to flap. So we're going to do all three: up arrow, W, and key space pressed. You just have to put two oars next to each other. In the repeat until, put a wait 0 seconds. Wait 0 seconds makes the game wait for 1 frame. Next, drag out a change force by -1. Put it in the repeat until loop. Under the repeat until, now you're going to want to set force to 0, and then under the set force to 0, set force to 5. These variables are all for the falling of the bird.
Now, let's go into full screen and test if we can flap. Uh-oh, the bird is not showing because it's not in the front layer.
Are you serious right now,
Put
bro?
it in the front layer. One green flag click. Now it should work. And it works. The bird is flapping, and it is flapping really well.
Now, go into the pipe sprite.
Rename this pipe.
In costumes, make a small dot in the corner of the screen. Go back to the code, and the first line of code we are going to write is one green flag clicked. Make a new variable, call it score. Set score to 0. Under that, create a clone of myself, and then hide. Make a forever loop and wait 1.5 seconds.
And then create another clone of yourself.
This is so that multiple clones can be on the screen at the same time. Now, let's drag out a when I start as a clone. When I start as a clone, show. Then, go to X 260 and Y 79 to -79. Repeat until
Touching edge. Change X by -5, and then we're going to delete the clone. Alright, let's see it. Uh-oh, it's not working, and we know exactly why.
the pipes would be touching the bottom, top, and right side of the screen when they spawn in. So, in order to fix this, we need to make a new sprite.
So, let's paint the sprite, and this is going to be a little rectangle at the edge of the screen. Make sure it's visible on here, and set it to 0, 0 to see where you want it. Now, instead of repeat until touching edge, repeat until touching sprite 1. We're going to rename this to wall or barrier. We're going to name it both.
Okay.
Now, let's see if it works. Uh-oh, it's not working because it's not going to the front layer.
Yes.
Let's make it go to the front layer.
Uh-oh.
And now it is moving. And it is looking good. They're all appearing in different spots and they're all disappearing when they hit the barrier. But we don't want the barrier to show. But we also don't want it to disappear. You know what time it is? It's time for when green flag clicks, set ghost effect to 100. And we all know why this happens. Rowan, care to explain?
So, whenever a sprite hides, another sprite is not able to detect it, as it's not showing on the screen. But when set ghost effect is set to 100, it shows the illusion as if that it's hiding when it's really only setting the ghost effect to 100. It allows other sprites to interact with it while still being hidden.
Thank you, Rowan. And now, let's see it in action. And it is looking good. But notice how the pipes aren't going right through the screen. You can just see how they are just touching the barrier and disappearing. We want them to scroll all the way off the screen instead of abruptly disappearing. There's an easy way to fix this. Let's do it.
In the pipe sprite, drag out repeat 10. Then we're going to change X by -5. And under that, we're going to delete this clone.
Just as we have. Now let's test it. And everything is looking good. Okay, it's definitely working, but one thing's wrong. The bird is not dying. So let's kill this bird. Don't take this out of context. They're probably going to take this out of context.
Out a when I start as a clone. Under the when I start as a clone, drag out a forever loop.
This is to do things forever.
If bird, then broadcast message die. Back in the bird sprite, you're going to drag out a when I die, and
Die.
then under it you can put either stop all, which will just stop the whole game and they will have to click the green flag to start again, or you can make a death screen, which we will show at the end of the video. For now, let's just make it stop all.
Let's test it out. All right, it is looking splendid and uh-oh, I died. You're bad. I'm
And
good.
as you can see, we can tell that the game is done because the bird is not moving and the barrier showed up on the screen. So now let's make a score system.
We already made a score variable and set it to 0, but now let's make the score work.
Drag out a when I start as a clone.
After that, drag a forever loop and drag an if statement. Also drag a wait until block. This will be useful later. Put that inside of the if statement.
In the if statement, drag out a less than. In the less than, put in the first input, put X position. In the last input, -150. Then duplicate that
And also grab a not.
put that duplicated piece of code in it, and then put that in the wait until. In between, we have to put a change score by 1. Now,
The score should be working and not going haywire like it did in the intro. And it works. The score is not going haywire and it works. And we can still die.
Now for making a high score. So for the high score, call it record. Make sure that you have it as a cloud variable.
These are the requirements to be a scratcher.
Okay.
Without these requirements, you cannot access the cloud variable, nor can you compete in getting this record. You can also go back into the bird sprite and deselect the force. We don't need to see that on the screen right now.
For the record variable, drag out a when green flag clicked forever. In there, you're going to put If score is greater than world record, then set world record to score. Let's make it a little neater by clicking cleanup blocks.
If you have Scratch add-ons, then you can get Cleanup Blocks Plus. Of course, Rowan made me delete Scratch add-ons, so I'm going to reinstall it.
Now the world record should be working. Let's first set the world record to 0, which it already is. Make sure to not set the world record to 0 whenever the green flag clicks, as whenever someone starts the game, the world record will be reset if you do that. Okay, let's test it.
And it is working, so let's die real quick.
As you can see, the record changes.
We're only going to set it to 0 right now, but we're going to set it to 0 by clicking it. Therefore, we don't want to be the ones that have the record. Now, we also want to make a death screen. This is optional, and you can skip to this time frame in the video if you want to see how to get to this project.
For the death screen, let's make a new sprite. Call it death screen. Let's drag out. If you have Scratch add-ons, I want you to turn on this option. Search up opacity, and this should pop up, opacity slider. This is so that we can make a translucent sprite. So, if we want, let's reload the page and check it out. So, let's drag out a square, and now when we select it and click on the fill tool, we have an opacity. Let's set the opacity to 40. Let's write some text. You can write whatever you want, but let's just say game over. Let's change the font to Pixel. Now we have a pretty basic death screen. Now, if you want, you can write some text saying click the green flag to reset. So let's write that. And we're going to fill the color to red. Let's center everything. If you want this text to be centered but not in the exact center, you can put it on the center. Then, while holding down, click Shift and drag it to the bottom. Now, let's code it. Pretty much all we have to do is when green flag clicked, go to front layer and set ghost effect to 100. Let's test it out. Yikes! Looks like we forgot to go to 0, 0. One last thing before we test it out. As you can see, it works. But we are not dying when we touch this bottom of the screen. I actually put the if statement in its own forever loop, and it should work after that. Okay. This concludes the video. Thank you guys so much for watching,
And you guys definitely use some Scratch abilities.